Okay, today we're going to be making homemade chili. The ingredients I have here today, I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, 3 yellow peppers, 3 poblano peppers. I like the chili to be hot, so I have about 8 serrano chilies. All these chilies I will end up dicing up, just like I have done the 2 cups of sweet onion. I also have a 6-ounce tomato paste, 1 can of corn, 1 can of tomato sauce, 2 cans of black bean chili, and 2 cans of diced tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out, after I dice my peppers, I'm going to take the peppers, onions, and garlic in a lightly coated pan of olive oil, and I'm going to saute those for about 5 to 6 minutes until tender. Then I'm going to take my broth, which I have here, I forgot to mention, 1 cup of broth, chicken broth. I'm going to combine my chicken broth, tomato sauce, tomatoes, the tomato paste, and corn with my sauteed peppers in a big pan here, and I'll bring it to a boil and simmer. And while I'm doing that, I'll be browning my 2 pounds of ground beef, because I like my chili to have a lot of meat. So I'm going to be browning 2 pounds of very lean meat. So that's what I have the 2 tablespoons of olive oil here for, is to add a little grease to it and get it nice and brown. Then I'm going to add the meat to the mix, bring it back to a simmer. Meanwhile, I'll be draining my black beans, nice and drained. Add that after a half hour of simmer, and then I'll be cooking that at a simmer for about an hour, and then, maybe a little bit longer, because the longer you cook something, the more flavor it gets, especially with slow cooking. Slow cooking gives more flavor to your meal. And when we come back, we'll show you all that cooking. Okay, so here you can see that I chopped up my peppers, got them ready to be sauteed. Over here in the big pan, I'm going to go ahead and rinse this out. Alright, now I'm going to add my broth, tomatoes, tomato sauce, get it all out. Tomato paste. Corn. And I'm going to stir that up a little bit. Turn my heat on to a little bit medium-high. Get it going. I'm going to add my garlic and my seasonings. Give that another little mix. Alright, while that's warming up, I'm going to turn my skillet on high over here, lightly greased. As that's warming up, I have my ground beef ready to be browned afterwards with my 2 tablespoons of oil. Okay, now that the pan's starting to heat up, go ahead and add my peppers. Get it all in there. And my onion. So I'm going to do this for about 5 to 6 minutes, you know, constantly moving it around, keeping it going, grilling everything, and then I'm going to add that to my sauce that's heating up right now. Okay, so it's been about 6 minutes, nice and soft and tender. I'm going to add that to my sauce now. And I'm going to wipe that clean. Now I'm going to take my 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to add that to the pan. Alright. Put this back on the heat. Stir in my vegetables. I'm going to bring that to a boil. And I'm going to add my ground beef. And now I'm going to cook that until it's nice and browned. And then I'm going to add that to my mix. Okay, so now we have the meat nice and browned. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the mix. And I'm going to leave the juices in there. I'm not going to take anything out because we have a lean meat. Most of it's going to be just flavor from the meat and the olive oil that we used to cook it. Okay, so go ahead and stir that up. that simmer for about a half hour. And let me bring this over to you so you can see. Nice, colorful. Alright, like I said, we're going to go ahead and cover this, let it simmer for about a half hour, and then we're going to add our beans. Okay, it's been about a half hour. I've drained my beans. So now I'm going to add that to the simmering pot here. Just dump those in. Give it a nice stir. Alright, a little bit of sour cream, some cheddar cheese, and cilantro. There you go.